Okay, so that's fine then. So that's what I'm actually going to teach you. And this course will be like 27 to 29 hours with me.
Mm-hmm.
And every day I'll be teaching you for 75 minutes
Okay.
from Monday to um, Saturday of India. 6 days I'll be teaching you.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's how we'll be taking this up. And secondly, now you understand what I will. So basically, the objective of this course is web developer. Okay, to make you web developer. Because using .NET we can do two types of application, like WinForms is there and there is ASP.NET, and
Mm-hmm.
this course actually teaches you 200% of ASP.NET because the focus will be on ASP.NET, but I'll be giving you some idea on WinForms as well. What you
Okay.
need to understand here, we do WinForms using C# and we do ASP.NET also using C#. So if you are an ASP.NET developer, you can easily do WinForms as well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that much confidence. Basically, what is the difference? WinForms means we use for developing Windows-based applications,
Mm-hmm.
whereas ASP.NET we will use for browser-based applications.
Okay.
So when I say Windows-based applications, for example, if you see GoToMeeting is a Windows-based application because I downloaded that software onto my system and then I
Mm-hmm.
install like Google Talk, Yahoo Messenger, all these things runs on the client machines. Whereas ASP.NET applications are browser-based applications which runs on the server and the content will be rendered back to the user, to the visitor's browser.
Mm-hmm.
So our C# will remain same whether I do WinForms or ASP.NET. It's just that how the application will be executed, that's what differs.
Okay.
Perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so now you know what I'm going to teach you in this course and how many hours I'll be with you and where we will be focusing a lot of such kind of things. And finally, because I know you're meeting me for the first time, this is my name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can search me on LinkedIn or Facebook
Okay.
to get more about my profile. I can paste my name into the chat window. And yeah, my profile is a bit lengthy, so I can give you some URL of Microsoft site where you can verify my credentials.
Okay. So you've been working on this field for how many
Yeah,
years?
yeah, yeah. I'm into this industry for more than 13 years, and
Wow. 13
uh,
years.
I'm actually a certified trainer by Microsoft. And
Oh,
I do a lot of online trainings. So I've been doing for the last 4 years online trainings as part-time job.
okay.
My main profession is I'm working on SharePoint 2010 workflows with
Oh.
a .NET 4.0 behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll just give you my website URL. So I'm actually pasting some URL for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you, of course, I can click here rather than you try by yourself. When you click on this URL, you will be asked for the transcript ID, which I pasted for you in the chat window, and there's a password as well as Barry Richards. And when you click on submit, you should see what I'm doing the last 13 years with Microsoft Technologies. So I'm actually a professional developer with Microsoft ASP.NET, and also I'm a certified trainer by Microsoft, which is a very highly uh, considered credential than the other credentials because this needs to be done every year.
Oh.
Unlike the other credentials, once you do, it will be with you lifelong.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also a certified technology specialist on .NET Frame, SQL Server, SharePoint Server 2007, and certified application developer, SQL Server database administrator. So you can actually go through, you can see it's all started in 1998, and still I'm going great as of now. So still you can see the complete history of my certifications, on which date, what I did, everything. Generally I show this to everyone because then you get to know whom you are talking to, and that creates some kind of good rapport basically. So okay, so I gave you the URL and I gave you the credentials as well, and you can always visit that.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, you can note down my email ID as well. I can actually paste it in the chat window for you. So generally what I do every day once I finish the programs, all these programs will be emailed to you. I'll also be sending the PowerPoint presentations and everything to you, your email ID. So you can drop me a test email.
Okay, I'll do that.
Because I have typed my email ID into the chat window.
Okay, I'll also do the same. Okay, I'll drop you a test email.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, okay. And finally, yes, so obviously, as I said, when you type in Google my name, you should see my profile and also how bad I look like. All this, of course, I'm the person on the right side, so you can come to know more about my profile, what I'm doing all these days. I worked in Middle East, I worked in Australia. I'm settled in Hyderabad for the last 5 years. Before that, I was in Middle East for 7 years, Australia for 2 years, like that. Okay, so that's all about my history. And before I get bit technical, so can I come to know about you as well, what you're doing and what softwares do you already know before .NET?
Actually, I just finished my bachelor's in computer engineering in 2009.
Okay.
And ever since, I used to work in, I mean, I'm still working on network, you know, I mean, networkings and hardwares and all. I know the only programming language I know is C++, C or C++. And actually, I've done some, you know, college projects in C++, but I wasn't that interested on this software part of the, you know, computer. So now, when I moved to USA last year, I've been working on networks still now, but you know, I want to try the software part too. I mean, because there is more scope on software than network over here. So I just want to change the track now, you know. That's all about me.
That's fine. Yeah, no props, understood. Okay, last question, where are you from actually in India?
No, I'm from Nepal actually, not from India.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, so let's start then.
Okay.
So you have experience on, so you know HTML and all?
Yeah, a little bit about HTML, yeah.
You know the HTML tags and all, right?
Okay. I have done that in the past, so once I see, you know, it won't be, I think it won't be a problem for me.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So you have Visual Studio on your system?
Yeah, I have.
2008?
I think it's 2010.
So last time you did all the applications, the training and all, using which software?
2010, Visual Studio. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, Visual Studio you used 2010 for the previous sessions?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
What I can suggest you, I'll give you the link from where you can download VS 2008 as well.
Okay.
So that will be like ASP.NET 3.5 with Service Pack 1.
Okay.
And then, yeah. and then somewhere in the last week of the course you will be exposed to ASP.NET 4.0 features.
Okay.
So why I encourage you to do that is because in real time companies won't go to ASP.NET 4.0 very quickly. So their websites are still on ASP.NET 3.5. So basically there is a change between 3.5 and 4.0 UI. And if I teach you using VS 2010, and when you really face the projects outside, you will see it's completely a bit different. So the best way is to learn things from in the ascending order. Like suppose now I need to really take you from 1.0 of .NET to 2.0, then 3.0, and then 4.0. This is the best way to experiment or to learn or to master a software. Move from the lower version to the higher version. If you directly see 4.0, you don't really see how the applications were looking like when you are not on that project. So that is the reason. Of course, between 3.0 and 4.0, there is a successful version of Microsoft .NET that is 3.5. So I'll be teaching you from 1.0 to 3.5, and then I'll show you the features of 4.0 in the last week of the course.
Okay.
Okay, so I can give you the link from where you can download VS 2008.
Okay,
And of
no
course,
problem.
I can give you the link also for SQL Server as well, not an issue. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions you want before I get technical?
Not really.
Nothing? Yeah, okay.
So you mean the Visual Studio 10 doesn't support 3.5? I mean,
no, ASP.NET has changed. Between VS 2008 and VS 2010, ASP.NET has changed.
Okay.
So there is something like say MVC, there's so many new things.
New features.
Yeah, so you will see the new features somewhere in the last week of the course. Why I tell you, training industry always goes behind latest versions.
Yeah.
Whereas the development industry is always, even today, people are developing websites in 2.0 of .NET. Because client doesn't want their applications to be migrated to the latest versions very quickly unless they become stable. You understand what my
I get the point.
Work industry really doesn't migrate to latest version so fastly because it requires a lot of permissions, skills upgradation, and so many things.
Yeah.
So training industry, of course, yeah, they move from one version to another version very quickly. Okay. Okay, that's fine then. So let's begin then.
Okay.
So I'll teach you exactly for 30 minutes for today, and from tomorrow, yes, I'll be with you 75 minutes technical stuff. Okay. Perfect. Let's begin. So what I'll show you today is some basic web page development using ASP.NET. So as usual, I can open my VS 2008 or VS 2010, anything is fine. I can show you the differences between those two as we progress day by day.
Okay.
So when I click on VS 2008, so once Visual Studio is opened, you can always click on File, New, and then you need to click on Website. Also, before I get teach you more, while I'm teaching, if you get any doubts, just stop me right away and you can pose your questions. And you don't have to wait until I finish explanation because you're the only one in this batch. Okay, so no issues. So I click on File, New, Website. So when I click on File, New, Website, you have something like say ASP.NET Website, Web Services. There are so many options here. I'm only going for ASP.NET Website, and I will be doing all these programs for you in just one folder, okay? So that's called as October 21st, 2011, 9 p.m. IST, .NET 20. So I will be doing all my exercises in this single folder, and the single folder will be emailed to you every day. So once I have my ASP.NET website, you can see the language that you are trying to develop this software is in C#, and location is very important. There are a couple of options like file system, HTTP, and FTP. Do you know anything about IIS?
No.
IIS is Internet Information Server, basically. Basically, every technology requires a web server. Now, ASP.NET is a Microsoft product which requires a web server that is IIS, which is Internet Information Services. So earlier, companies used to buy IIS separately. They need to have, suppose if I'm a developer in my organization, I have my own operating system for which the company has license, and if I need ASP.NET applications to be developed, companies used to spend money on IIS as well. That is up to in 1.0 of .NET. So in 2.0, what Microsoft says, okay, along with Visual Studio, we will give you an inbuilt web server like IIS, which you can use freely on the dev systems. Of course, on production and staging servers or QA servers, you need licensed version of IIS. So basically, today I can run ASP.NET websites on my system without IIS, as long as you select the location as file system. If you select it as file system, it means you're using inbuilt IIS, what Microsoft is giving to you.
Okay.
And yes, if I select HTTP and all, then you must have IIS installed on your system. As days goes by, I'll show you how to work with IIS as well. But before that, for the initial days, I'm selecting the location as file system, and then I have a nice folder where I'll be storing all my files, and I click on OK. So now we are creating a blank website. So the moment I have my blank website, you can see on the right side there is something like, say, Solution Explorer. There is a file called as default.aspx. When I expand this plus symbol, I've got something like, say, aspx.cs file. This is CS means C#. So ASP means active server pages. ASP means active server pages. And there are two files actually in ASP.NET. Every file has got a code file. The first one, this ASPX, is actually a presentation file where I'll be designing my web page. Whereas this ASPX.cs is a code behind file. So this is how we have two different terms. One is .aspx, the other one is aspx.cs. So this is pretty much like this is purely for presentation design, UI design. Whereas aspx.cs, we call it as code behind file, where our business logic will be written inside the aspx.cs file, whereas aspx is purely for UI design, the user interface design. So before I tell you, now let's see some basic examples here. So there are actually two different, you can see the tabs here, something like, say, there is a design view, and there is a design view here, and there is a source view as well. Now, source view is where you will type your HTML part. Your HTML tags can be seen here. You can see HTML, head, body. There's so many sections here. Whereas I can click on, yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
What is it similar to PHP, the
Yeah,
ASP.NET?
PHP. Yeah, exactly. See, PHP, Cold
Mhm.
Fusion, JSP, Java Server Faces, all these things are server-side technologies.
Oh.
So before, let me give you some idea before I get more deeper into ASP.NET. So generally, to design websites, one should know HTML basically. But HTML is the only language what a browser can understand, whether it is Internet Explorer or your Opera, Firefox, whatever it is. Browsers knows only one language, that's called as HTML. But using HTML, I can create only informative websites. Using HTML, we can only create informative websites. Informative means hardly you go to a website and you read whatever is there. Other than that, you cannot interact with the website anymore. So to have some kind of dynamic websites, so that's where Microsoft, I mean, people have come up with scripting languages. Now we have two types of scripting languages, like client-side scripting and server-side scripting. If you need this information, I can actually save this and send it to you, no issues. So we have client-side scripting and we have server-side scriptings. Now we have two types of client-side scripting languages in the market. I'm pretty sure you must have heard about JavaScript
Java
and
and
VBScript.
yeah.
Now, if I write any code in JavaScript, or if I write any code in VBScript, that code will be executed on the visitor system, on the client system. So obviously, if I write some code in JavaScript, suppose you are a web developer, you have designed an HTML page with some JavaScript in it, and when I come to your website, I can always see what you have written in JavaScript because your source code is exposed to the world.
Yeah.
Whereas in the case of server-side scripting, like for example PHP or classic ASP or ASP.NET or Cold Fusion, Perl, CGI, Servlets, JSP, Java Server Faces, there's so many server-side scripting languages in the market. This is your hypertext preprocessor. This is active server pages. Perl, practical extraction reporting language. In fact, Perl was the very first server-side scripting language in IT industry. But then sometimes when you visit some websites, you see the files extension with .pl. This is Common Gateway Interface. Perl and CGI have ruled the web development for years between 1985 to 1995 and all. ASP is from Microsoft. This has become popular from 96, 97. PHP and all open source technologies. You know what is an open source, right?
Yeah.
So where the code can be modified by anyone in the world. So servlets, Java Server Pages, and Java Server Faces, these are all from Sun Microsystems. Now, the point here is, I said browsers understands only one language that's called as HTML. Suppose I'm actually visiting a website, http://www. Something like say abc.com/xyz.aspx. The moment I type this URL in the URL bar and when I press enter, what happens, the file that you have requested is .aspx. So this request goes to the server where the site is being hosted, and that server will actually give you a request to the web server, because web server is the one which converts .aspx file to .html file, and then this HTML file will be sent back to the client. So there is always a browser actually makes a request to server. The server, when it realizes What the browser passes here, you can see, I would say here, the browser actually passes a request to the server. What is the request? That you want to go to this farm. The server is a physical computer, so which realizes you're actually looking for an ASPX file. Imagine if the request, what you're typing, is only HTML file, okay? If the user is actually requesting for an HTML file, the server will immediately send this HTML file blindly to the client, because HTML can run on the client computer. Your browser understands HTML. But once you have requested a file whose extension is not HTML, it is something else like .php, .jsp, .cfm, when the extension is not HTML, then that request will be further passed on to web servers like IIS. So again, the request will be given to web server. Now web server will actually convert this your ASPX file. It will compile this ASPX file into HTML. And then this HTML will be sent back to the visitor computer, and that's what we call as a response. So there is always a request and response mechanism here. So suppose in the website, suppose if I open any URL, suppose the moment I type hotmail.com, so that's a request. The moment I press enter, that request goes to server, and the server will, you can see this is an ASPX file, okay? So this ASPX file has been compiled on the server, and then the results came to my client system. So as a web developer, you should understand the concept of request and the concept of response. Client means visitor's browser. Server means physical computer, and web server is a software basically. Web server is a software. As a matter of fact, for ASP and for ASP.NET, what is a web server? We use IIS. For PHP, some people use Apache.
Apache server, yeah.
Cold Fusion again can be done using Apache. Again, there are different. Cold Fusion server itself is a Perl, CGI, again through Apache. Servlets can be done using Tomcat, JBoss, WebSphere, IBM WebLogic. You know, so the all Sun Technologies uses Tomcat, JBoss, or WebSphere. So what you need to really understand here, suppose I have requested a JSP file, okay? Imagine as a visitor, I want to go to abc.com and I'm requesting a file called as xyz.jsp. So that request comes to the server, and server looks at the extension .jsp, and then it understands JSP is an extension, is a file extension. JSP is a file extension that can be executed or that can be processed by these web servers. So the server is responsible for passing on the request to the corresponding web server. That is what is most important. Got my point? See, this computer, the server, has so many software. Suppose it may have IIS, it has Tomcat, it has Apache, it has JBoss, it has WebSphere. So the server is responsible to identify which request has to go to which web server. If you ask for an ASPX file, then it gives a request to the web server. If you ask for JSP, servlets or JSF, then the request goes to the respective web server. So this is how your request will be processed by the web server into HTML, and that HTML will be given to the client's browser. Okay. Perfect. Now that's the basic concepts. Now, so we are into the default.aspx. Suppose I can Go to
So
the design
this,
view. Yeah.
okay, this IIS, this Apache server, are they pre-installed into the
No, we need to
Windows?
install them.
Okay, that's my question. Okay.
We need to download Apache and all. You can go to apache.org and you can download the Apache. So you suppose, let's say you want to try JSP today, okay? So then you need to find out where is Tomcat. Now I can come to this Apache and I can go to downloads and I can download the respective server. Fortunately, in ASP.NET, I don't have to download IIS as a set from .NET 2.0 because we are having an inbuilt web server with Visual Studio.
Okay.
Let's say tomorrow I want to run some PHP programs on my computer, then I need corresponding web server for which can understand what is a PHP file.
Yeah.
Obviously, see, Tomcat doesn't know what is ASP.NET file.
Yeah.
And IIS doesn't know what is JSP file or servlet. So it's like that. So without web server, nothing is possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Now, as of now, I'll just show you a very simple program today. Suppose I have this default.aspx file. So I want to write some code, so I can always double click on the default.aspx.cs file. So I'm pretty sure you must have gone through all these kinds of statements, except I think you must have learned only using system, nothing else. So, but yeah, there are so many using statements you don't have to bother about right now.
Okay.
But you can understand there is a class called as default, which is being inherited with the page class. That's inheritance. And we can see there is a function here called as page load. Obviously, in the page load function, we can write some code, pretty much like main function in your console-based applications. So any code that you write in page load will be executed when the page is loaded into the browser. Suppose, let's say, the moment I open this page, I just want to see some message on the screen. So I can say response.write. I can say welcome to ASP.NET.
Are you typing something, or because
Yeah, I'm typing something.
I'm only seeing your notepad right now.
Maybe it's going a bit slow.
I don't know, because I'm only seeing your notepad. That's all.
It's stuck for you?
Yeah, it's stuck in the notepad. What happened?
How about now?
Still same. Okay, now it's in the Visual Studio. Okay, you welcome to ASP.NET. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now, okay, let me show you again one more time. So I was having this default.aspx and aspx.cs. I want to write some code now, so I'm double clicking on default.aspx.cs.
Okay.
So when you double click on default.aspx.cs, there are so many using statements which you don't have to worry about right now. And then you have a class default which has been inherited with the page class. And we have a page load function. This is an inbuilt function. So any code that you write in page load will be find automatically when the page is loaded into the browser. Suppose I'm writing a message, response.write, welcome to ASP.NET. I can build my solution now, and you can see the build is succeeded, and I can simply click on the arrow mark to run my code. So now you can see the file is open in the browser, and I can see a message, something like, say, welcome to ASP.NET. Now, interestingly, if I go to view and source, you don't see any code that you have written, but you will see the output of that program only. Understand? The code is not actually visible to the visitors. Whatever code I'm writing in ASP.NET, this code is not actually visible to the user, because this code will be converted by my web server into plain HTML, and that plain HTML is what is being shown to the client's browser. Suppose if I want to write another message, for example, I can say response.write, welcome to C#. So if I run my code again, I can see there are two messages now, welcome to ASP.NET and welcome to C#. But interestingly, the messages are coming next to each other. How do I split them into separate lines? Yes, you can use our HTML break tags. You can use the HTML tags inside the response.write statement. Now I can see the messages coming in different lines. Suppose I want to improvise this program. I want to have some message to be printed in bold. I can say response.write. I can use bold. I say this is bold text, and I close the HTML tag. Okay, and then I have an italic text. It's not necessary that the HTML tags must be in caps. It's only to identify that is something some reserved word. Okay.
Okay.
So I can say response.write, something like say underline. This is underlined. Okay, so well, unfortunately I haven't used break, so let me copy this, paste it here, and paste it here. Now run the code. So now you can see I have a bold text, I have an italic text, and I have an underlined text as well. So if you wish, if you want these programs, these messages to be displayed, suppose you want a message, suppose I'm trying to say response.write, I want a message to be printed as bold, I want a message to be printed in italic, in underline. Okay, so I will say bold, italic, underline, something. And when you're closing the tags, you must close the innermost tag first.
Yeah.
So because my tags are BIU, so I'm actually closing them as UIB. So now if I run the code, you can see the last one is coming as bold, italic, as well as underline. Perfect. Like this, you can try so many HTML tags. So I'm pretty sure you know UL means unordered list, OL means ordered list, like that. Let me show you some quick examples. Suppose let's say I'm trying to say response.write. I'm using a tag called as center. I'm also using another tag, font size, as 24, font color as blue, and then I'm trying to print some website's URL. So obviously when I run this, you should see a message in blue color in the center of the screen with the font size 24. So this is how you can play with a lot of HTML tags. This is center, font size is 24, color is so and so. Okay, perfect. So next I want to print have some kind of horizontal line. So I can show you how I can print a horizontal line here. You can see I'm trying to say response.write. HR size is 15. The thickness of the HR means horizontal ruler, and width is 50%, and color as red. So let me run this code one more time. So now you can see there is a red line which is of 50%, and the size is 15. So this is how gradually you can improvise the look and feel of the web page. Let me show you a few more things. Suppose I want to print some messages in bullet points, you can see here. So I'm using a tag called as UL, means what? Unordered list. And then I'm trying to say LI means list item, some Lemmas 2010, some WCF, some MSBI, whatever it is. So if I run this code, I should see those codes as offered as bullet points. You can see that bullet point before each code's name. That is what the UL tag is doing. Okay.
And what does that LI means?
List item.
What does it do?
No, we're seeing some kind of bullet symbol before each code's name, right?
Oh yeah.
This one.
Okay.
Suppose you don't want bullet points, but if you want numbers, okay? So I can simply change this UL to OL, nothing else. Okay, I can simply change this UL to, this is ordered list. OL means ordered list. Now if I run the code, I should see it as numbers now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's how you can play with a lot of HTML tags I'm trying to cover, like bold, italic, underline, center, font, HR, UL, OL, like this. Finally, you can play with tables as well. Suppose you want to have some nice grid table. Suppose I can say response dot, right? Table align equal to center. I want this table to be aligned to the center. I want the border size of the table as 5. The background color should be so and so. Then I say I want to, you see the output, then you get an idea. You can see I have a nice looking table center which has 3 columns like serial number, codes name, duration. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 various codes, various durations. Let's see how do I do that. So you have something like say TR means row, table row, and TD means table definition, the cell definition. So I have one TD called as serial number, another cell called as codes name, another cell as duration. This is actually for closing the tag, okay? Slash. So one row is closed here, one row is finished. Then I have so much of data, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is one cell. This is another cell, and this is third cell. So like this you can, and then at the end of the day you can close the table tag. So this is how we can do a lot of HTML tags along with the response.write statement. I'm pretty sure in console-based applications you are having console.write line to print some messages onto the screen. But here we should use response.write. Okay?
Okay.
So basically what I have shown you today, how we can render some text onto the screen using ASP.NET by using the response.write statement. And inside response.write statement, you can have a lot of HTML tags, what we have used, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll actually stop here and I'll send you these programs. What's your email ID? Can you type for me?
Sure.
So I can send you these files.
Okay. Okay, well, this chat is not open. Okay. That's my email.
Okay. I will note it down. That's fine then. So I'll pass on my files to you right after 5 minutes, whatever we did today.
Okay.
And tomorrow I'll see you at the same timing. So India night, 9 o'clock, which is 10:30 for you.
Okay. And you can also send a link to download the Visual
Yes.
Studio 8.
Yeah, I'll send. I'll put in the email what I'm going to write. Okay.
Sorry, we broke out. Oh, can you repeat that?
The URL.
Um, your sound was broken, so whatever you
No,
said.
no. What I'm trying to say, I'll send. I'm actually going to write an email now, right, with the programs.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In the same email, you'll have the URL to download VS 2008.
Okay. Great.
Okay. So thanks for your time, and I'll see you tomorrow, same timings. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. See
Yeah.
you.
It's 9 o'clock my night, which is 10:30 for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, man. Bye.
Okay. Bye.